Hello, Louisville. Guess who's coming to dinner? Well, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I hope everyone's home safe from work. I'm just starting to work, even though this is not really work. I enjoy this very much. Welcome back to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. And you know, the dinner conversation is the entree. And our guest is the dessert. How about that? So today we have with us Louisville's. I'd like to introduce to one, present to others, the fabulous Judge Denise Brown. Hey,
Good
Judge
evening.
Brown. How are
Good
you?
evening. I am well. I am well. Very happy and pleased to be able to come to dinner with you today.
Well, thank you so much. It is dinner time. We met Denise several years ago. Uh, I met your sister in Paris, and I actually
Yes.
I was at your home, came to your home when I met you. And
Yes.
since then, we found out we have a lot in common. We're Delta Sorors and
Yes.
looking at uplifting our city, uplifting women, that we do all
Yes.
those kinds of things. And you, my dear, are a family court judge. Now, you had another
Am
business
since
down on Guthrie Street before you did that. Tell me,
I did.
tell me your story.
Okay. So I went to Howard University undergrad,
Okay.
came to the University of Louisville to attend law school. I ended up staying here, married my husband, Ronell Brown, Captain Ronell Brown. We
Okay.
have 3 children. And I started practicing in 1986 and practiced for just about 28 years before an opportunity arose for me to run for judge. And so I ran in 2014, and I have been on the bench since 2015 in family court and was recently selected by my peers to be the chief judge for family court here in
Ah,
Jefferson County.
well, bravo. I didn't know that. That's wonderful. I was going to say you've been on the bench about 6 years, huh?
Well, we're in our 7th year.
Seventh year.
Seventh
Okay.
year, and we've had a new judge every year since we've been on the bench. So by the time
Wow.
it's time for us to run again, there will have been 7 folks that have cycled off of the bench, and new people coming on. So it's pretty exciting.
Okay. All right. So tell me, we're going to talk a little bit about family court and some resources that families might need that
Okay.
may keep them from falling into the trap of having to go to family court.
Hmm.
Tell me about the different family court handles what aside from
Well,
adoptions, because I saw you with all them babies in your office and toys and stuff.
yes, yes. Family court it's a little bit of a hybrid. It has parts of district court functions and parts of circuit court functions. So we
Okay.
are a circuit court. The
Okay.
difference between us and general circuit is that we don't have jury trials. All of our
Okay.
trials are bench trials. And
Okay.
so we deal with matters of paternity,
Okay.
dependency, neglect and abuse, child support, uh, domestic violence.
Okay. I don't know. Something
Which
happened.
could be divorce,
Okay.
custody, uh,
I don't know. You're going in and out on me for some reason.
our court is that we have a specific portion of the alphabet that we are assigned to, and we see those families for the entire time. So you don't
Okay.
get a different judge depending on your
Every
issue.
time you go. Okay.
Right. We become very familiar with the individuals and are aware of all of the different cases that they could have on all of our dockets, which gives
Mm-hmm.
us a better view of what's going on in their life,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to them getting a new judge every time something comes up.
Wow, those are a lot of different areas that deal with the family, huh? I never knew
Yes.
that there would be that many. I didn't know that you dealt with domestic violence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
one
you
of our
also
major dockets is the domestic violence docket. I mean, it's one of it's the only wanted women, people who were victims of
Denise, can you hear me?
court. So those were the hearings that continued through COVID, even though it was closed to the public from March
Hmm.
to June. We continued to have domestic violence hearings and emergency hearings regarding child abuse and neglect and dependency
Hmm.
cases.
Okay. All right. All right.
So we haven't
So,
really been sitting around. We've been working since March,
well,
just remotely.
let me ask you, in that area of domestic violence, and I've heard this. Is this true in Louisville as well? That cases of domestic violence increased during COVID?
I don't, I haven't looked at those numbers because really we just maintained our dockets.
Okay. You
So
just the
just
cases you were already dealing
anecdotally,
with.
yeah, just anecdotally, I don't recall there being an increase, but I'm not, I can't say that based on all our, real numbers, our raw data, that didn't occur. But we continued our dockets,
Okay.
so
Okay.
they were the same size all the time.
So now you said you also deal with adoptions, right?
We do adoptions, we do terminations of parental rights, we do custody actions, we deal with any matter that is post divorce or between family members. So,
Okay.
like, you
Okay.
may have been divorced and you all have established child support, but there could come a time where you might need to modify that order. So then you come back
You
to
come
the
to
circuit
family
court for
court.
that. And then to establish child support, you would work with the Jefferson County Attorney's Office and our paternity dockets.
Okay.
So each of
So
those are
tell me
held weekly.
something. Tell me how people, what are some of the reasons that you think that people end up, aside from divorce, um, the other angles of family court? I'm thinking in protective services, things of that nature when it's
Child Protective Services.
right,
Well, I would say that's probably the only docket where people appear not because they file their own motion. Okay. If Child
right,
Protective Services is involved, a report and an investigation that indicates that a child or children may be at risk of harm. And so the
right,
court needs to take some action. And that
right,
action doesn't always mean removing the child from the home. It'll mean, maybe placing them in the home of a loved one, a relative, a fictive kin, someone who's like, like a play
okay,
aunt or uncle. That
okay,
could be the remedy as well. It's just basically remove the child from the thing that puts them at harm, at
right.
risk.
Do you think that there are, and I know you wanted to talk about some of the resources that are um, available to families even before they get into having to deal with family court. Let's talk about some of those resources because I'm curious to know what they are because I'm thinking that a lot of times families need mediation somewhere along the line
They do. They do.
before they need to go into I'm going to take you to court.
Right. And
So,
most of the proceedings that come before us, there's always that opportunity for mediation. And
okay,
we ask parties if they're willing to attempt mediation before
okay,
we, set cases for a hearing. Most of the resources are with the cabinet for family and human services. They
okay,
have a very large preventative program, which means just because someone calls CP and reports something to the hotline does not mean that it's going to result in a child being removed from home. Because
okay,
what they're going to do is investigate, first of all,
right,
and then they may just put a prevention plan in place.
okay,
Some issues, but we think that you can address these. And if you're willing and committed to addressing them this way, then we don't need to file a petition. And
okay.
so a lot of that is with that cabinet, which is the DCBS. You hear people talk about it, and Commissioner Martina Miranda
You said
is
DCBS,
yes, yes, and
and that
we have a
stands for. Give me the.
I
The
wish I
full
could
name
tell
of
you
the
because
acronym.
sometimes I look Cabinet for Family and Human Services or Health
Okay.
Services.
Okay. Okay. DC. Okay. All right.
That's
Yeah.
CHFS. We call it CHFS or DCBS. They're both the same.
The same. Okay.
Uh, yes.
I was talking to you earlier about when we first met, and I'm hoping that it looks like maybe not, but we'll continue.
What?
It'll show up in a minute. What?
You said
What?
it looks like. I thought
No,
you was
I
gonna.
was seeing something happening on my screen, but uh, I wanted to let you know also. Every now and then you go in and out. I don't know what's happening. If
Well, it's
something's
because I
happening,
have my husband's in the house, and when he's going in and out the door,
up,
I
you're
mute
telling
the
me you got
mic
to
so you
keep
all won't hear the
still.
chime.
I
That's
said
just
because
me muting the
it
mic.
would you would stall and we couldn't hear what you were saying. So I just wanted you to be aware of that because we
Okay.
don't want to miss anything you were saying.
Okay.
Because even at the uh, let me bring back my train of thought. So we were talking about these resources, and so the cabinet is one of those areas.
Yes, the
Are there
Cabinet for
other?
Health and Family Services, and
Okay,
then we have CASA, Court
CASA.
Appointed
Okay,
Special Advocates for
okay,
Children, and
okay,
we also have 7 counties that we have a partnership with, and they provide mental health and addiction and recovery services.
okay,
We work also with Two Not the group that specializes in supporting fathers who are non-custodial parents and helping them understand the ins and out of the system, and helping them to work on their parenting skills and feeling more confident when they do come to court that they are asking for the right things and are prepared to address what issue may come up. And then there's also For Your Child, which is a program sponsored by the University of Louisville,
okay.
and
So
it's also for non-custodial fathers as well. And
okay,
then of course we have several mediation services that would, where folks are willing to provide mediation to people who have to come to family court.
okay. So the single fathers. I want to
Hmm.
talk a little bit about the single fathers because um, when I moved back to Louisville and I found out that um, the young men, if they get locked up for um, not paying child support, is that a felony on their records?
Well, the other unique thing about family court is that we do not handle criminal matters at all. So we're mainly involved in the establishment of child support. And you
Okay.
may have the opportunity to be held in contempt if you're not following a court order that says you're supposed to pay. But when
Hmm.
it becomes criminal, that's not in family court. That goes over to district court. So it's
Oh,
felony
okay.
non-support. But
Okay.
we
So
look
you all
toward
just
the
help set it up.
establishment. Yeah, we help
Okay.
set it up, and we help individuals establish their parenting time as
Okay.
between two parties.
Well, I think that's wonderful that you all do a lot with the fathers, because a lot of times it seems like it appears to be that it's the woman that's always the person that's in court instead of fathers more so. It
Well, no,
seems to
it's
me.
actually both. I mean, we have the
Both.
Center for
Okay.
Women and Families
Okay.
that works with us, and a lot of other support groups for women. Uh, we actually work with
o-
both in
Okay.
terms of providing resources.
Okay. So how do you feel that the court system in Kentucky? I know you know about other places that have other programs, but how do you think ours lives up to doing what it's supposed to be doing, or could it do more? Or where do you? I just want your opinion on where do you think the court system in our system of justice, how it works, and the role that it plays.
Well, I feel like as far as family court is concerned, we can always do more. There are
Okay.
always ways that we can continue to build upon the partnerships that we have, and take a more proactive and preventative role in children. As probably within the last month, there's been an article that says for the, I think it's the fifth year in a row, Kentucky ranks number one in terms of child
Right.
abuse cases.
Right.
So we are, as a term of judges, are working very hard on looking at solutions for how can we address this? How can we address this? And this basically happens when the kids are, either with their parents or in care sometimes of the cabinet
Hmm.
where we have these abuse situations. So it's something that we're very mindful of, and without a doubt, I would definitely say that we could always do better, always.
Right. I saw that about us being number one in that area, and I was horrified because I was trying to figure out. I was wondering why. I mean, of all places, why? I don't know if the opioid epidemic or things of that nature. They all play into that, right?
Yes, all of those
Okay.
things play into it. And, one thing that we probably did see less of were a child neglect or child abuse cases, and probably fewer domestic violence cases during COVID because people were not out as
Right.
much.
Right.
And those types of family situations tend to be more hidden
Hmm.
and not revealed until this person is out and in the presence of other people, where they feel a sense of safety and they may share the information about what's going on in their home. So, we are always concerned that people feel like they have access, to the
Right.
courts, even though, COVID has gone on. We didn't want anybody to feel like, okay, that's going to keep me from reporting something or the court taking action to protect me or
Right.
my children.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything that is of importance to you or that's on your plate that you're working on that you want to share with the community?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about our Family Recovery Court.
Ah,
We are
okay.
into our third year, and it is for opioid and alcohol substance abuse issues.
Okay.
And we started out with a model that was designed to be to provide wraparound services to the entire family. So most of our criminal or punitive drug court models really focus more on the individual and them relapsing.
Mm-hmm.
We are focusing more on the individual, their recovery, their family, and helping them reestablish themselves as a unit, as a separate, independent unit,
Right.
as they are in their recovery. It's and one of the things that I just hadn't really expected is to hear people say, wow, I haven't done these kinds of things that we probably deem very normal,
Mm-hmm.
like planning a schedule for our children or helping
Right.
them with their homework or going to the grocery store. Everything has to be reestablished because the opioid addiction is so consuming
Mm-hmm.
that it really just takes your mind share of everything away from you. And you don't even know the things that you're not doing anymore. And
Right. Your
as people move it, yeah,
focus is scattered, huh?
yes. And as people move into recovery, they begin to see for themselves the things that they were not doing, or the things that maybe place their child at risk, or the things that they haven't done in so long. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like for instance, just raising their kids.
Right.
Maybe there was a grandparent or another relative that was
Somebody
taking
stepped
care of
in.
the kids, right, while they were unable to. And now that they're in recovery, then they're coming into having to take on those parental responsibilities again.
Right.
And it's a program that requires you to do the work, and the work is not just abstaining. That is a big part of it, but we also help people address the root cause of what caused them to medicate with the
How do
drugs
people
in the
get to
first
your
place.
program? How do they get there?
What Okay, you have to have an active case in our dependency, neglect, and abuse docket. So it means you have to be before the court on some situation involving your child.
Ah,
And
okay.
you can volunteer for the program. It's not a
Okay.
court ordered program. Everybody that's in the program has decided on their own that they want to be there and
Okay.
they want to
Okay.
receive these services. And it's designed to allow graduation to occur within a year. They phase through several different portions of the program, which are designed to, first of all, get them to recovery, right? Get them to abstinence. So the
Right.
ideal is that when they get to their year, they have at least a year of sobriety.
Okay.
And then they learn to take care of themselves again, then take care of their families, and then also to get their children back in the home with them, maintaining a stable home environment. So all of that stuff is awry when you have someone who has a dependency,
Mm-hmm.
a substance dependency issue. And I have, we partnered with the National Council of Jewish Women on this because they actually were the group that helped us establish the Domestic Violence Center that we currently
Oh,
have. And
okay.
so they
Okay.
partner with us every once in a while. They'll say, we'd like to come and observe court. And then they
Mm-hmm.
come and observe and they notice something that they feel like would be helpful to the community. And then
Right.
they go out and help raise funds so that we can get it. So this partnership that we have right now, it's not even funded by the state. It is
Oh,
actually
okay.
funded by private funds that allows us to do this. And so we partner with the Volunteers of America. We partner with 7 County Services and various other therapists and treatment centers in town to customize a recovery program that
Okay.
fits each individual. Because
Okay.
one size doesn't fit everybody.
Doesn't fit everybody. No.
Right. And so we work with them. We meet with them weekly, which is very different because usually you're probably only going to see the judge about every 6 to 8 weeks, and that's if
Mm-hmm.
you got something active going on in your case.
Right.
If your case is resolved and you've already admitted or acknowledged that you placed your child at risk, then you're not likely to see a judge again. We're just letting you work through your plan. But with recovery court, we see them every week and we're talking to them every day. Not
Okay.
myself per se, but our case managers and their CPS workers are talking
Okay.
to them every day,
Okay.
trying to stay in contact with them, making sure that we understand what their issues are, and we're helping them to rethink how they do things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And trying
Right.
to stay ahead of the game. It has been one of the most rewarding programs that I have participated in a long time. It really was surprisingly just amazing, the relationships that we were able to develop.
Okay. So now, for the person that does not have an ongoing case like in another court that put them in that position, but
Hmm.
that just knows that they need to voluntarily get into your program, how,
Or into
what,
a program. They
yeah,
can't
or into a
voluntarily get into
program.
our
Okay.
program, but they could go to the Healing Place, and
Okay.
they have one for men and for women. They could also go to the Volunteers of America, and they have services that cover both men and women.
Okay.
And there are some other resources. I can't name them off the top of my head, but there are a lot of community, like nested in the community,
Okay.
uh, uh, homes where you have several folks who are going through the same issue that live in the same home, and they
Right.
have a therapist that comes there. They have the AA or NA meetings at that location. So it doesn't, and then you also have the Brook, you have Our Lady of Peace, and
Okay.
several other facilities within our community that provide intensive inpatient services. They
Mm-hmm.
also provide intensive outpatient services. I mean, pretty much what you need for that.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Well, you've covered the gamut, honey. You've covered the
I
gamut. I
mean,
had a
we want
surprise
people to
for you
get.
today. I don't know if it's happening or not. Is my surprise happening?
Oh Lord, here's Stephanie.
Look, but
I
she's
see her screen. I don't see
I
her
see her
though.
screen, but I don't know where she went. I'll just leave it there and see if she comes shows up.
Look, honey,
She's
Stephanie's on the
she's been
screen.
sitting there for a minute. I was trying to surprise you.
Okay, okay.
But the work that you're doing, even
Uh
just
huh.
being a judge, but there has to be a commitment to that. You have made a commitment to help families in our community. And on behalf of our community, I want to say thank you, and we celebrate you, especially during this Women's Month. That's why I wanted you here,
Oh, thank you. Thank
you know,
you.
to celebrate you, because I was saying the show is about hearing those voices that we don't hear all the time. You know,
Right. We
you know,
don't have the opportunity to talk about, the cases that come before us because,
right,
we are impartial.
right.
And, but it's also our responsibility to educate the community. So anytime there's an opportunity for me to come out and talk about family court and what we cover and help people understand, the different processes and procedures which will allow you to come before the court, always happy to do that. Always happy to do it.
Well, I appreciate you stepping out,
Yeah, she's
giving
been
you a
so
boost.
pivotal in my life. Um, I mean, I've always been pretty self-directed. I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew
Hmm.
that I wanted to do something more than undergrad, but I wasn't always sure. And she was really there to be that sounding board for me and to just kind of guide me. Because I promise you, I probably would have gone to Marshall University and would probably still be in West Virginia. I don't know if I ever would have gone to law school or not. Don't
Yeah,
know. Because
yeah.
that was for me, that was my aspiration, was to go to Marshall University, and then I was going to take it from there. So
Wow.
it just changed the course of my life for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, let me tell you, the musical that she's talking about
Hmm.
is my very first effort at producing a musical, and it was a full-blown 25-member cast that I did for the 50th anniversary of D-Day in Deauville, France, in
Uh
the
huh.
Normandy region. That's how big it got, with
Okay.
no money.
All
You
right.
hear
Well,
me?
she works a lot with no money. That's good.
No, she don't
Y'all
work for
make it
no money
happen.
no more. She told me to get that straight,
No.
though. She's, no, but I'm saying I didn't have any money, but she just helped me explore my idea,
Hmm.
and helped me to grow it. And I had two American Express cards, and I met a little man that I thought he was African royalty, who promised to give me the money for the production. He didn't give me all the money, but he gave me some of the money so that
Hmm.
the kids wouldn't hang me in effigy in France.
Yeah.
Uh, but she helped me do my very first musical called French Kiss.
Okay.
Yes. And that's a big to do for me, because it's still my baby, and I still want to put it on stages in Las Vegas.
Oh. All right. All right.
That's my
Well, y'all
that's
y'all
my
still have
plan.
time. Y'all
We
still
got
have time.
time.
Y'all should get busy.
Tell Ronell I said hello. Take care
I
of your
will do
family.
that. I will
Stay
do that.
safe.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
having
coming.
me on.
All right, darling. Talk to you
Okay.
soon.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.
All right. That's Judge Denise Brown and her sister girlfriend of mine, Stephanie Neal. It was just nice to do something different, you know. My show's not like anybody else's show, you know, because I know how to talk to people, and hopefully I make them feel comfortable enough to be themselves. But she was here to share information with you about what family court is about, the resources that family court offers, and how to, if you by chance have to be connected to family court in any kind of way, that you know that there's someone in family court that um, has a human element to her. Everyone should have, but most people don't think judges are, have me a misconception about judges. But I just wanted you to meet Judge Denise Brown, because she's all that. She's resourceful, she's caring, she's passionate, and she's making a difference in our community. So on that note, I will say I will see you on Friday, because it's dinner time. I'll see you on Monday. It's dinner time somewhere. Guess who's coming to dinner? Bon appetit. See you next time.